Hi and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to be doing 5 things we learned whilst watching Manchester United lose versus Brighton yesterday at the Amex Stadium. In at number 1, Manchester United need, and I repeat, Manchester United need to drop Marcus Rashford. Like honestly, we've just gotten to a point where Marcus Rashford just doesn't seem to care about the club anymore. Like honestly, guys, this is a guy who, going into the season, right, I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. I genuinely did. I was like, you know what? Rashford usually has a good season and a bad season. Like a really, really good season, then a bad season, then a really good season and a bad season. And so the cycle continues. And given the fact that last season he had an absolutely terrible season, I was sure, I was 100% sure that this season, Marcus Rashford was going to have such a good season. But guess what? 2 games into the season, he already looks like he's tired and doesn't want to play for the club. Like Man United fans get onto Jadon Sancho for doing so much less than Marcus Rashford does. Honestly, this guy, right? I don't know what Rashford wants at this point. Does he want to leave the club? Because if so, it's simple, mate. Just hand in a transfer request and leave the club. This guy genuinely looks disinterested in playing for Manchester United. His head is down, his shoulders are slouched, he doesn't want to press. Like, his press, right? It's the most pathetic press from any Manchester United player I've ever seen in my entire life. Horrible. He doesn't want to press, he doesn't want to track back. When he gets the ball, if he has a chance one-on-one, he misses. And if he scores, 9 times out of 10, he's flipping offside. Like, honestly, mate, what do you want? If you want to leave the club, just flip and hand in a transfer request. It's as simple as that. Like, genuinely, I'm actually getting worked up again thinking about yesterday's performance from this guy. He is so bad. He's so bad. Honestly, Rashford is bad, man. He's so bad. I don't know. Like I genuinely don't know at this point what it's gonna take for him to get back to his best, because the performances he's showing are absolutely pathetic. His attitude is pathetic. In fact, it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Like I said, doesn't want to press, doesn't want to track back, can't score. When he does score, he's flipping offside. So what more does he want? Honestly, man, Rashford needs to be dropped for the next game against Liverpool. I know he usually does well in the big games. In fact, he doesn't even do well. He just comes up with big moments in the big games. So maybe drop him, keep him on the bench, give him a kick up the arse that he needs, and he'll actually perform better against Liverpool coming off the bench. But honestly, like I said, the first thing about this video is Marcus Rashford needs to be dropped. Whether it's for Jadon Sancho, Alejandro Garnacho, Anthony, whoever, I don't care. Just drop Rashford. Absolutely drop him. He's been pathetic so far. Anyways, moving on to number 2, or rather, the second point that we learned whilst watching United yesterday. Man United need to sign Manuel Ugarte. Honestly, we need to sign Manuel Ugarte ASAP. Because the Casemiro I saw yesterday, he wasn't the worst, but he wasn't the greatest either. First off, for me personally, I thought he was one of our better players. And to be fair, it wasn't hard to be one of our best players because, to be honest, about 80% of our squad were playing rubbish in the first half yesterday. But Casemiro was one of our better players in the first half. So that was good. But when it came to the second half, Brighton just kept on attacking us. And it wasn't all Casemiro's fault. But a few times I did see Casemiro going down to try and get a slide tackle, and every time they just skip past him, and I was just like, oh my god, Cas, this is not what we need, bro. We don't need this. And if anything, we need to sign Ugarte. We definitely need to sign Ugarte. Like I'm saying, we desperately need a ball-winning midfielder. I know Ugarte is not the most polished or most exciting name, but when it comes to it, an all-action midfielder and the midfielder I was going to get was a ball-winning midfielder, we need Ugarte as soon as possible. Honestly, we cannot afford to go into the season without Ugarte, or at least a midfielder of a similar profile. But obviously, Ineos have handpicked Ugarte to be the guy to come into our midfield. So, like I said, the second important point about this video is Man United need to do everything possible to sign Ugarte before the deadline of this transfer window, because Casemiro's good. However, he's shown me that he can't play throughout the entire season. At his age, he's old. He needs to play a game, skip a game, play a game, skip a game. We can't afford to have Casemiro play week in, week out. So United need to do everything in their power to go and ensure we get the signature of Manuel Ugarte. Moving on, and coming in at point number 3, it's time for Delete to start. We signed Matthias Delete for this summer for about 40 million euros or 50 million euros. I'm not sure at this point, but somewhere around there, right? And the reason why we went and signed Matthias Delete was because we realized we had too many injuries in defense, in centre back in particular, and we needed a proper first team defender. Now, this summer we didn't just sign Delete, we also signed Lenny Yoro, 2 centre backs, to show that the centre backs that we had in the team were either not good enough or were too injury prone. So now, we now find ourselves in a situation where Harry Maguire started the first 2 Premier League games of the season, and whilst I was fine with that, I think it's time to go now. I defended him. I said after he played a very good game in the first game in the league against Fulham, I said Maguire should start the second game. And I said only if he performs badly should he be brought out of the team. Now, granted, yesterday he wasn't the worst player on the pitch. However, he did play a big part in Fulham scoring their first, Brighton scoring their first goal of the game. So for that, I feel Maguire needs to be taken out of the team, and Matthias Delite needs to be brought into the team. I know we're playing Liverpool the next game. It's going to be a big game, a tough game at Old Trafford, but we need to start embedding Delite into the team now. Delite must start the next game. Honestly, there's no two ways about it. We paid good money for him. He's apparently on high wages as well. So I think this is the time. Bring him into the starting 11. In fact, by the time we play Liverpool, he will have had 2 weeks of training. So there were no excuses. You can't tell me he's not fit, he's not ready to play. Start the guy now. Maguire has gotten his chance. It's just not worked out. He's a squad player at best. Let's take him back on the bench and bring Delite into the first team. Simple as. Now, moving on to the next point, which I believe is point number 4. Joshua Zirkzee. He needs to start the next game as well. He does, genuinely. If you watched the game against Brighton yesterday, right, we were quite decent. We weren't like great, but we played well. Let me put it as it was. The first 30 minutes, right, of the game, I thought we were absolutely sensational. I remember we were balling, playing these triangles, one-touch football, just playing through Brighton. Very good football. But after that first 30 minutes, we were absolutely rubbish. Don't even get me started on the second half. We were absolutely pathetic. But one thing which stood out, and was quite clear and evident in the first half, was that we lacked a number 9. Now, granted, our actual out-and-out number 9, Rasmus Højlund, he's out injured, right? So who's our next best thing? Joshua Zirkzee. Zirkzee is, like he says himself, he calls himself a 9.5. He's not an outside number 9, more of like a 10/9. So again, it's in the middle, so it's a 9.5, right? He likes to get the ball to feet, bring his teammates into play. You know, he's more of an assister than a goal scorer. Now, of course, yesterday we all saw the game. He had a chance. Well, Garnacho was scoring, but the ball came off of Zirkzee's knee on the touchline. So obviously they said he's offside and they cancelled the goal, led to us losing. It's fine. I'm not going to blame him for that. It is what it is. However, in as much as we were pressing in the first half, right, very well, and actually winning the ball back with Mount playing in the false 9 alongside Bruno, we lacked a physical number 9. So I think it's time to bring Joshua Zirkzee into the starting 11. Let him get used to playing with his teammates. Give him a full game. Even if it's not a full game, give him about 70 minutes in the first team 11, and let's see how it does. But honestly, at this point, I feel we're genuinely at a point where we need Zirkzee to come into this team, because what are we doing here? Just bring him to the starting 11 and we'll be good. Coming on to the fifth and last thing we learned whilst watching Man United immerse themselves against Brighton yesterday was there's a lot of confusion. There really, really is. There's a lot of confusion. And what do I mean by this? Mason Mount, in as much as he was a ghost. He wasn't playing much of a role whilst we had the ball in the first half yesterday. However, he was very good with his pressing, high energy, high tempo, pressing, and that was good for us, right? However, when he came off at half time, and then the second half, as Exi came on and the other players came on, second half were absolutely pathetic. Now, I'm left confused. And my question is Mason Mount supposed to be starting for us on a weekly basis? Or was it a one-off? I'm confused because I noticed against flipping Fulham at Old Trafford last week, we replaced Mason Mount around the 60th minute and our press died. Whilst Mount was there, our press was very high, very intense, energetic, winning the ball high up the pitch. But as soon as he came off, we became a bit lethargic, right? Obviously, we won the game against Fulham, but against the same thing happened again yesterday. I'm noticing a bit of a pattern here. The same thing happened against yesterday when he came off yesterday at halftime against Brighton. The team, our press wasn't as good as it was with Mount in the team. Now again, I repeat, this is the fifth and last thing I learned yesterday. I'm confused. Is the team better with Mason Mount or without Mason Mount? Like, honestly, I don't know. I'm confused. Maybe you guys can let me know in the chat. Like, I'm genuinely confused. I'm going to leave that to the chat. Let me know in the comment section. Do you think the team is better with Mason Mount in it or in Mason Mount without it? Because if we're saying the team is better with Mason Mount in it and we want to bring Zirkzee into the team or Højlund, bring an actual number 9, we're saying it's either Mount or Bruno in the 10 with either Zirkzee or Højlund in front of them. So what are we saying? Are we saying the team is better with Mount or Bruno in the 10? I don't know. I'm a bit confused, like I said. Let me know what you guys think. Is the team better with Mason Mount in the 10 or with Bruno Fernandes in the 10? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. And if you haven't already, please like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys soon. Peace.